Welcome everyone to March Caregiver Solutions. Thank you for joining us. Today we have guests from Direction Home to discuss their assessment process and services available. Direction Home Akron Canton Area Agency on Aging and Disabilities, they sometimes shorten it and say Direction Home Akron Canton, is a private nonprofit organization that helps older adults and people with disabilities thrive in the places they want to call home. A deeply committed leader in long-term care, Direction Home Akron Canton supports those struggling with mobility, transportation, meal preparation, medical bills, home repair, and more, always with the goal of empowering the elderly and individuals with disabilities. For 40 plus years, we have served thousands of people. They have served, sorry, I'm reading what they say. They have served thousands of people through Portage, Stark, Summit, and Wayne counties. Please welcome our speakers, Jen Wells, RN Assessment Supervisor, Danielle Snipes, RN Assessment Supervisor, and is Mariah joining as well?
Unfortunately, Mariah was not able to join today.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I didn't leave her out in case she was going to be here. So thank you both for being here. And I look forward to hearing what you have to say.
Thank you, Dana. Yes, my name is Danielle Snipes, and together with Jen Wells and Mariah McIntyre, we do supervise the assessment department at Direction Home. Um, but we wanted to talk to you about our agency and the services that we provide. And we just wanted to go over and give you a brief overview. And you are more than welcome to ask questions. And at the end, if there's more information, we would love to be able to schedule a time to come out and meet with you, because that's what we do. Sometimes we can't answer everything, with one presentation. So we'd love to do that for you. Can you see my slides?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So here we're going to talk about our agency, which is Direction Home, Akron Canton Area Agency on Aging and Disability. Here at Area Agency, our goal and everything that we work towards is to focus on the person, not the problem. So that's our goal here. Okay. The mission of our agency is to provide older adults, people with disabilities, and their caregivers long-term care choices and consumer protection so that they can achieve the highest quality of life. Our vision is that we will be the central access point and the preferred long-term care management organization for all people with disabilities. So here at Direction Home, we focus on helping individuals in the setting that they call home, wherever that may be. That's what our goal is, so that you can live independently. Who we are a private agency. We're national. We are one of 655 area agencies on aging. And in fact, here in Ohio, there are 12 area agencies on aging. Our particular division, we help Portage, Stark, Summit, and Wayne counties. Of course, we do have a board of 28 members. And our executives here, they have a background in business, law, social work, and policy. Our agency continues to grow. We have more than 240 employees, and our home and community-based division, which is case management, that's a big portion of our agency, and it's primarily licensed social workers and registered nurses. Now, you may not know, we do have volunteers and interns. So if you are interested or you know of anyone who is looking for volunteer hours, like social work students, nursing students, we do offer programs for volunteers to come, and also interns. Now, I wanted to go over this section with you all. This is current gaps in available funding. So the way to look at this form here is, you see the red box there. Outside of the red box, there is a gap in funding, meaning these are people who are not near the poverty limit. So you may make a little bit more, you may make a lot more, but you also don't need that much care. So it may be preventative services. So if you're in that area, then private pay is your option, or if you're still working, then your insurance through your employer. So you don't really have many options of covered services or free services to you. Now, within the red box, these are people who are near or at the poverty level and they need more care, which we refer to as nursing home level of care. And what that means is just you need an intermediate level of care, meaning you need help with at least two activities of daily living, things like bathing, dressing, grooming. You need things like that in your home. Now, people who are at poverty and they need these types of services, there are services out there for you, like the Medicaid waiver program, which Jen is going to talk to you a little bit more about our passport and assisted living. But the takeaway from this sheet is that there's more help for people who have less resources and need more care. There's more help for those people. But we have recently received grants. So we have some programs for people who may make a little bit more money and they need services. We actually just started getting funding for those. So that's something else that we want you to call us about so we can go out and talk to you and see what's available to you. Here on this slide, these are our most requested services. Transportation is number one. It's a big issue. It just is. There's not a lot of non-medical transportation options, if any, out there. It's either you have Medicaid and Medicaid will pay for medical transportation, or it's private pay if you don't have a car yourself or loved ones, community that will help you with that. But here's a list of services that are most requested that we do help with. Now, who we help annually, these numbers are rising. So with the recent grants that we've had, our calls have skyrocketed. But we help more than 12,500 callers with information. We put on CEUs, well, continuing education courses and seminars for Medicare, and our focus is to educate people about Medicare. And then also we do have a program to help avoid hospital readmissions. We have a program here at Direction Home that focuses on that. And then this just lists different services that we offer here. Jen, take it away.
Okay. Think of us as your front door to what community and government programs may be available to help. How to get help so you or your loved ones can continue living in the community. Where to get home delivered meals, senior housing, transportation, caregiver support, education, and so much more. We get calls from the Aging and Disability Resource Center. Next slide, Danielle. We get calls and referrals from online to the Aging Disability Resource Center. The programs are screened and to see what eligibility criteria they might have. So they look and see if, they might be eligible for the Alzheimer's dementia program, family caregiver program, home and community resources, housing options, and home consultations and assessments. Our assessments are free. They're home-based assessments to discuss long-term care options and assist with planning. Either a registered nurse or licensed social worker visits to determine eligibility and care plans. These can be done in the home, in the hospital, in a nursing facility, and assisted living. Home and community-based services help older adults and people with disabilities accomplish everyday tasks such as bathing, dressing, preparing a meal, or managing money. The Passport program, individuals are eligible if they are over 60 and over, and the payer is the Ohio Department of Aging, and they have to meet certain criteria to get help in their home. Assisted living waiver, an individual must be 21 and over, and they must be living in a certified waiver facility. to be on the assisted living waiver. Care coordination is a non-Medicaid program that helps people that are 60 and over, and also their informal caregivers. And we have talked earlier about the Aging Disability Resource Center. You can call in or ask for a referral online, and they can call you back and give you different resources through the ADRC. Long-term care ombudsman, they help people with long-term support services. Then there's My Care. We do dual eligibles that have Medicare and Medicaid, and also help with United Health. They're also dual eligible with Medicare and Medicaid. Ohio Home Care Waiver is a Medicaid waiver program for people that are under 60. And then Specialized Recovery Services, that's through CareSource, and you have to be 21 and over with serious persistent mental illness or diagnosed chronic conditions. Our provider network is, we have 250 plus contracted providers, including home health agencies, including the proprietary and nonprofit, home medical equipment providers, adult daycare providers, home delivered meal providers, and assisted living facilities. We have an elder rights department. They take complaints and investigate and resolve those complaints in nursing facilities and assisted living facilities. Information on Medicare benefits, rules, and options. And they also do long-term care provider selection assistance. They help people find long-term care in nursing facilities. We also have a health and wellness program. These are non-Medicaid evidence-based programming free for attendees. It could include powerful tools for caregivers, Tai Chi for arthritis and fall prevention, bingo size, post-site and instructor training opportunities. And these all can be found on dhad.org. And you can find more information on all these programs, or you could call our ADRC for more information. Our foundation, our vision, is that all older adults in our region shall have access to community-based long-term care regardless of their ability to pay. Our mission is to enable older adults not eligible for government assistance to remain independent and secure at home through access to a range of supportive services. Here are our contacts: Aging and Disability Resource Center, communications, media stories, speaking engagements, events, training, education, caregiver support, ombudsman volunteers, and interns. And that's all I have right now. Does anybody have any questions?
Thank you. I know I do, but if anyone else does or doesn't want to speak up, you can of course put the question in the chat. But I know my main question is, and I am familiar with the process, of course, but when I'm talking to clients on the phone who may be calling in for Meals on Wheels intake, a lot of times when I talk to them about services available, there is sometimes resistance to calling you all just because I think they hear Medicaid and it makes them nervous. And I think if they knew how the process went, they might feel a little less nervous. What would you recommend I tell them to expect in the process of, like, say, when they call into the resource center?
When they call into the resource center, they will ask, the person can let our screener know what they're calling for, if they're interested in meals, and we can, give the different options. Are we looking at, are they in Summit County? Right now we have the Aging in Place, and they could get free meals through that. And also if they don't want to go the Medicaid route, there's also the care coordination program. But if they need help with, like Danielle was saying, the 2 activities of daily living and three of the instrumental activities daily living, then maybe it would be best to go the Medicaid waiver route for passport to get help in the home to see if we can get other services in place.
And I just want to add to that, we always encourage people to call because it's just a conversation. There is no pressure. We come out and we want to talk with you to go over your scenario to see what options. What we always tell people is that knowledge is power. So when you have this information, you can plan for your future. So that's why there's no pressure. Just talk to us about what the options are so you know and you can plan accordingly.
I appreciate that knowledge is power, because I think sometimes people are afraid to ask the questions, but it's important for them to know their options. And even if they don't move forward with it right then, they could always do so in the future, if they were to change their mind or their needs increase. Um, and you all are the experts at this, I know. But for people having resistance to talking about Medicaid, how do you handle those conversations? Do you have any tips on that?
I'll go first. Okay. So my tip is that sometimes people don't want to disclose because we will ask about income and we'll ask about assets. And sometimes the people are not comfortable with disclosing that. And we'll say, that's okay. Let's just go over what the guidelines are. Here are the Medicaid guidelines for 2024 for income and for assets. So let me give you the information and then knowledge is power, and then you can decide from there. So don't feel pressured like you have to sign up or you have to give this information. Sometimes, like I said, it's just a conversation where we'll give you the information about getting onto Medicaid versus not getting onto Medicaid, what services are available. Jen, did you want to add anything?
No, that's perfect. These are just long-term care consults is what we call them. And we just give the person the options and they can give us as much information as they want to. And then if they decide that they want to maybe enroll into a waiver program later down the road, they can call us back and we'll set that up and go out and see them.
I will use that term long-term care consultations, because I often, when I'm doing intake for Meals on Wheels, a lot of times people start talking and then I realize, oh goodness, like they're needing a lot more service than only a meal. So in trying to make that referral happen, and sometimes their immediate need is the food, and of course we can help meet that, if we have, the means to do so as well, but it's helpful if we can pass them on so that they can get more service if it sounds like they need it. Does anyone else have any questions? Yeah. I always think of a ton, and then sometimes I have them prepared before, and I didn't think to do that today. Um, it's really helpful hearing kind of how the process works. I know that in the screening process, you ask certain questions, and then the client then determines if they want to move forward to have someone come to their home. Is that right? Okay. Still making
Yes.
sure it's still
So
the same.
yeah, so it starts with our screening department. They get the referral, they do the screening questions, and if they just want resources, sometimes the screeners will send that either in the mail or email. But if they want more, if they want a long-term care consult, then we'll go out and so we'll go to our scheduler, and our scheduler will schedule usually between 7 to 10 days it will take for an assessment. And then the assessor will go out to the home or nursing facility or hospital or assisted living, and they will see them. And again, just conversation to see what their interests are and what kind of options, and they'll go over the process.
It's great. So you do them at the hospital and nursing facilities as well if they're there.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Sometimes, they're not at the hospital very long, so once in a while, by the time, because sometimes it does take 7 to 10 days for the assessor to get out there. So it might be, they might go to a rehab
Mhm.
facility, they might be seen there, or they might be discharged home. But when our scheduler calls, then we usually get that updated.
Okay. And then I know there is kind of a shortage of home health aides in the workforce. And has that changed your process at all? Or is it kind of still wanting to enroll people to then, you know, have them there if and when staffing becomes available?
Yes, one way that we try to get around that is that we offer an adult day center as an
Mm-hmm.
option for those that, it's appropriate for.
Mm-hmm.
Because the socialization and some adult day centers do offer where they can help you with bathing and
Mm-hmm.
dressing. Because the staffing shortage, it has affected us. It's unfortunate, um, but it is it is very much still real. It has not changed our process, but we let people know up front that this is still an ongoing issue and that you will have to utilize your backup plan while we continue to search for a caregiver, whether it's through an agency or an independent provider. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that.
A lot of times they do need some other help,
Mhm.
on Medicaid waiver with Passport, you can get so much more. You can get, the home modification if everything qualifies and you're eligible. Um, Durable medical equipment, the medications, the copays are typically paid for. Um, the emergency response system, meals, things like that, medical transportation.
Yeah, still a lot of other services, which is
Yeah.
wonderful. Yeah. Anyone, I'm seeing looking at the chat box, but I don't see anything. Anyone else?
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
Okay, this is Selena, and I'm from a faith-based nonprofit, and I work with a lot of seniors. So I'm just going to throw this out. A senior I'm working with right now, he was referred to me by one of the agencies that was mentioned in your presentation. He had a problem with bed bugs, and he continued to tell his landlord and show where the bed bugs were bothering him, and the landlord would not bring in any type of extermination or anything.
Wow.
So the gentleman called a company and they came in and exterminated his apartment. He gave the bill to his landlord and his landlord's refusing to pay it and wants to go through with an eviction because he didn't feel that, he should have done that. But we do know that all other options were exhausted in contacting the landlord, asking him to do something with the bed bugs. And he did go in one day with a can of spray, but the bed bugs, if the condition was so bad, that can of spray did not help this man. So is there any options for him besides
So,
moving? Because that's what the landlord's like. Well, if you don't like the bed bugs, get out.
Oh,
wow. Yeah, so it it's options. One thing is it depends on if this individual was in like a senior high-rise building or a hut building. Were they in that type of building?
Yes, yes.
So the people in those settings where it's a senior high-rise building, the landlord is responsible for extermination. That's just the truth. They're responsible. So when the landlord does not, the first thing that I recommend is contacting a fair housing representative. But then also, if the individual is 60 and over, there's a service called Pro Seniors where they give free legal advice. They help you. I'm going to give you that number. Anyone 60 and over that has legal issues, they can contact Pro Seniors. And the phone number is 1-800 488 6070.
Can you repeat that one more time, please?
Yes. And it's Pro Seniors, PRO, Pro and Seniors.
Okay, I wrote that.
1-800
Mhm.
488 6070.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yeah. You're muted, Dana.
Thank you. Thank you for that resource. I have looked into them before, so that's a wonderful resource for people. I see Liz England has her hand up. So Liz, did you have something for us?
Yes, I have a question.
Okay.
I have a client, her husband is on Medicaid. You know, obviously, since I do Medicare, everybody think I'm a Medicaid expert too. And I tell them I don't do Medicaid. But so he's on Medicaid. First time I met him, he says, "Do you know about this thing where Medicaid will take your home?" And I'm like, "I'm not a Medicaid expert. I really can't help you." And so I was trying to get them. So I guess I'm confused. What do they contact the Department of Job and Family Services? Who do they contact? Um, and so the wife wants, well, they want to get out of Medicaid. And I'm saying, well, let's get some information first. So I guess how can I advise them? I guess that's the question. Anyone?
Jen, did you want to take that one or you want me to?
Sure. So I would have them contact Family Services, but anyone that's on Medicaid and 55 and over, there is a state recovery. It doesn't go into effect until if you're married, until if you pass and then your spouse passes, then the state can come back and recover whatever like funds that were used within the Medicaid money. But I would have them contact Family Services.
Okay, that's what I suggested, but they just want to get out. They don't have nothing to do with Medicaid. And I'm like, you really need to talk to somebody about this. So, all righty, thank you.
You're welcome. And again, that Pro Seniors number, I would also give that to them as well. That is such a great resource. If they're 60 and over, I would give them that resource.
Okay, Dana, I didn't write the number down.
I will put the number in the chat box.
Thank you.
You are welcome. Any other questions? Thank you for all the questions. If you can hear me typing, sorry about that. Okay, so I put the number for Pro Seniors in there because I was also wondering about like elder law attorney, but they could help someone and it might be a more a cost-effective way to go about getting some advice on that.
And if they need continued legal help, they can refer them to somebody in
Okay.
their area.
Okay, that's good to know too. Okay. Well,